wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. Hope he dies. Hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
So I was compensated handsomely for 2.5. By the time I'm done with this review, it'll be 2.5 hours of my life. It's a long movie. It was a full length feature film, and I was trying to. It ain't even noon yet, guys, and I am not in my right mind after watching this movie. And it's not a bad movie. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing creepy. For those of you who are into horror films, this is a great movie. I mean, great. I just ain't into horror. It's just not my cup of tea. And it kind of reminds me where if you ever saw Interstellar, that was such an intense movie that after the movie, me and the GF walked out of the movie theater. I'm like, I need a drink. It was it was that intense, Interstellar. And this one, it's like it's way too early in the morning for that shit. I thought I'd be sly, I thought I'd be the efficient economist that I am. Well, I'm a lazy sack of shit. I just stay in bed checking my email anyway. I'm still contributing to GDP. I just do it from the comfort of my pajamas and in bed, drinking my luxury coffee that I buy at the luxury. Actually, it's not the luxury grocer. The coffee store where they grind the grounds. They're luxury. But you could get it dirt cheaper at the grocery store. So I don't know if they get a bulk deal or what. I used to go to the roaster because I was snooty like that. And I don't know, I could find it for like $2-3 a bag cheaper over here. So I go to it's not egregious. So I was sitting there with my luxury coffee with my jams on, Snoopy jams, if you must need to know. And you get into that habit. Oh, look at this. And I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute. I'm just going to be wasting my time tweeting out things, looking at this and being funny and edgy and posting me. I'm going to be efficient. I'm going to be clever. I'm going to be smart before the first drop of coffee even hits my system. And I'm going to attack. I was going to use the R word. I'm going to attack my mind with a horror flick. And here we are 2 hours later after I did some other stuff. And so I took some notes. And let me tell you about the film called Abigail. Some kind people, some tuner inners, couple, husband, wife, I think they're married. I don't know. Guy and a gal who are madly in love with each other said, Cappy, please review Abigail. And I can't, you can't tell over internet, but they're kind of like giggling and snarking. I can't wait. It feels like a setup. It just feels like a setup. Let's pay Cappy to do this. Oh, God, look at him. He's in pain. So let me go to the notes here. I'll pull up all the notes, and I'll tell you what the thing is, and then I'll. All right. I am an asshole. Okay, first thing. Yeah, there's going to be a fuck ton of spoilers here because I'm not watching my words. I will not discuss my talking. I won't watch my discussing. I'm just going to tell you what it is. So if you're like, I'll tell you now. If you're into horror films, stop this review. Don't watch this review. Go watch the movie. It's good. It's really as far as horror flicks go. All right, then you could come back here and watch it. So yeah, I'm going to tell you all about it. All right. So let's go through the notes. All right. So first, what happens? Okay. There's a little rich girl. She's a ballerina. She gets into a car with a chauffeur. She goes to a big fancy new house. And in the meantime, running parallel to this is all the introduction. You see a hit team. Looks like a pretty professional hit team, minus the driver, who's kind of a douche canoe. They got the surveillance, and they got the sniper guy, and they got the driver, and they got the leader, and then they got the main character, if there is one. It's the Latina. What the fuck was her specialty? I don't know what her specialty was, now that I think about it. She's just general purpose gal, all right? And, there's some minor things, like the driver's kind of a pain in the ass and driving fast. I'm like, "Well, that'll draw attention," but I'm okay, fine, we're just gonna let it go, just watch the movie, Aaron. And so, the girl they get to the house before the girl gets there. They kidnap the girl, and they whisk her off from fancy new big house to old creepy old house. And there they meet the guy who hired him, Carlito. Oh God, what the hell is his name? Uh, Black guy. The boys. Boss actor. There's many black actors in that, but I wanna know. Nope, not Black Noir. Um, who is the he's a good he has a very, serious voice. What is his name? Oh, let's just go. I gotta get this cast. The boys. All right. Where is he? He's kinda like the boss. He's not in the there it is. Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito. I like him a lot as an actor, voice, demeanor, and all that. And so he's in this one, and he's the guy who hired him. And it's kind of pretty straightforward. No names, don't say nothing. He says, "Your job is to stay in this house, lay low, shut the fuck up for 24 hours. Don't let the girls see." They put the girl in the room. "Don't let the girls see your face. Put your mask on. No names, no exchange of information. Have a drink, sit in the house, chill the fuck out, collect your money at the end," right? Presumably as a ransom thing. And so he goes away, presumably to do the negotiations. And then what is it? There's 7 of them, and they all got the role they gotta play. There's the muscle, there's the IT gal, there's the sniper, there's the leader, there's the sniper, he's a Marine, general purpose girl. What the hell was her role? She's the main character, Latina girl. And so thus begins a little bit of discussion of like, can you guess who I am? So a little bit of information is exchanged, but not a lot of identities. And the main character, Latina gal, she has a son and she's a mom. And so she doesn't know that they're kidnapping a kid. She doesn't like it, but she needs the money. So she goes in to check in on the kid, and the kid is there, little ballerina girl. She's crying, she's scared. Um, My dad doesn't love me, but he's gonna be pissed off. He's coming for you, that kind of stuff. And then the Latina gal leaves, and she says, "I'm scared," because she says we're gonna regret kidnapping her. And then the leader, who is a dishonored detective from the police department, he says, "Yeah, little kid's gonna say that and get inside your head. You should be more professional than that." The actor of whom that character is probably the best played one. The muscle, I forget his name, the actor. By the way, all the actors on this are good. The little girl, everyone played this was great casting, great acting by everybody. But maybe it's because the main character, the guy says, "This guy reminds me of you." And I'm looking at him like, yeah, he is me. He's pissed off at everybody's stupidity. But aside from that bias, I think he plays the asshole douche, whoever the actor is. He plays it well. And he says, "Yeah, this little girl, she's getting inside your head, da 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 da." So then curiosity gets the best of him, and he goes into the room, and he asks her, he's like, "Who's your dad?" Like, they don't even want to know who it is. They don't want no information. They want this to be a tight nod. They can't talk if they don't know, kind of thing. But curiosity gets the best of him, and he says, "Who's your dad?" And it's Lazar something or other. And the guy's like, "Oh shit." So the leader, the cool, level-headed guy, gets out of the room, goes downstairs where everyone is. He's just packing up his shit. And they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here." Because they kidnapped the wrong guy's girl. Like, this guy, Lazar, is a bad guy, underworld. Very horrible, very bad. Dude, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You can have my money. I'm gone. And then I had to remember, because this is where it becomes a true horror film, where there's logic holes and plot holes. And why the fuck didn't the vampire just break down the door and fucking kill all your asses? Because the movie has to happen. The plot has to happen. And I can't remember, but they decide that they're going to stay, take the money, and get the hell out after that. I think that's so he doesn't leave, or there's some kind of contrivance by which he has to stay. It escapes me now. So then it goes to them just biting their, like, oh shit. Oh, that's what they do. They decide to stay. They're gonna hunker down, and they're gonna fortify the creepy house they're in. Sniper guy's gonna play point. Everyone's gonna do their job. Everyone goes and does a thing. So they go and do their thing, and the driver, who's played a real good actor, by the way, he's probably the best actor now that I think about it. The guy who played the driver was such an asshole, like such a fucking skis, that the actor played it really well. And like, oh, this guy, I hate this guy. So he goes down into the basement, and he's in the kitchen, and there's a room that goes into another part of the basement from the kitchen. And you don't see what kills him, but he gets captured and he gets dragged in, and then he's dead. You don't know what happened to him. Oh yeah, and then there's the cute girl. She's the IT gal. So she meanders down. She's the cute one. She's the cute blonde girl that screams a lot in your standard horror film. She goes down to the basement because she hears the guy yelling and screaming. He's getting killed barely. So what's going on? So she goes down. She goes through the kitchen. Nothing's in the kitchen. And then she goes into the room where the guy got killed. She's like, what's going on? Hello? And then she turns around and he's sitting there. And she jumps like, oh my God, I didn't see you there. And then she goes up, like, are you okay? And she just touches him and his head falls off. Now here's the gore. Here we go. She screams. Everybody hears. They go downstairs. They're like, what the fuck? Then they say, oh, I heard about this. This happened before. Because they're all kind of in the underground criminal world. There's this assassin, the guy, Lamar. He has an assassin called Valdez. And Valdez can get into anywhere and kill anything. And this is his hallmark. He mutilates and tears up the bodies. So they're like, oh shit, we gotta go. We gotta find out. Is he here? What did the girl tell? Is there a traitor among us? So they go back upstairs to interrogate the girl. And during the interrogation, they don't know who to trust. They think everyone's trading on everybody else. They start pulling guns on each other. I'm simplifying this a lot. It's a long movie. And while they're fucking around, pointing guns at each other, Mexican standoff, Abigail just breaks her wrists and gets out of the handcuffs. And then the wrists heal up right away. And then the blonde girl who's cute starts to say, guys. And then you find out Abigail is a vampire. Now, up until this point, me, not like old Cappy, who does not like horror films. I do not like horror films. I think they're low grade. The plots are contrived and stupid and dumb. Everyone has to have an IQ of about 87 on a good day with wind on their back to make stupid. Let's go downstairs where we found the corpses without calling the cops or nothing. And so this is the point in the show where it lives up to that stereotype, where there are dumb decisions made. You're just like, well, why doesn't the vampire do the bad thing? Why just go and kill them all? Why no, lower him unnecessarily slowly into the pit of sharks. And then the kid is like, why don't you just shoot him? You always give him a chance to get away, Dad. Like, just kill James Austin Powers. And here's where we have fully now entered horror flick. But I'll tell you this. Up until that point, this was a hell of a well done movie. And I even noticed at the beginning, I'm like, why does this remind me of something? You know what it reminds me of? It was so well done. It's like the beginning scene in Die Hard where the terrorists are setting up. It was really good. And one of the actors, and then like two weird other coincidences that just kind of stuck out where once I saw, I was like, this feels like the terrorists in Die Hard are setting up. Even the noise and filmography, everything was very Die Hard-esque at the beginning. So the main, or I guess kind of the main character, the leader of the group, he called Frank, by the way, the guy who hired him out, he gives him all the Rat Pack names. He says, "You're Frank, you're Dean, you're Peter, you're Sammy." And that was clever. And in the cast, that's their name. You never find out the real name. I guess you do in a couple of them. It was good. It was good. I liked how they named it after the Rat Pack. And that's how they're billed on the cast. The leader, Frank, obviously Frank Sinatra, he had the same glasses as Carl. Those 1980 big circular things. Go look it up. Look him up and then go look up Carl from Die Hard. Or not Carl. What was Carl's brother? I forget his name. You are a policeman. There are rules. That guy. You're like, boy, that looks just like Die Hard. And then the guy who plays the Marine, the sniper, I swear to God, I'm looking at him. I'm like, he's younger than me. All right. So this guy did not star in Die Hard 2. But if you remember Die Hard 2, there's a group of military guys. Those are the bad guys. And there was a black dude. And he was just standard muscle with the gun, special ops guy that Bruce Willis has to go kill later. I'm looking at that guy, and I'm looking at this actor who plays the Marine, the sniper guy in this movie, and I'm like, that can't be the same guy. There's like 30 years difference. Is that his dad? And I looked it up, and it says his dad was trying to get into Hollywood, but didn't mention the guy's name. And then I was looking up I'm looking at him like, God dang, he looks exactly like the other guy from Die Hard 2. So there's all these odd Die Hard things pop. It looked just like Die Hard. It had the DNA of Die Hard up to it. The setup is real good, where they get the gal, they kidnap her, just the plot and like no names. This is that guy. This is this guy. I bet you can't guess, my background, and the gal guesses them all. It was real good. It was a real good very good movie. And then the horror flick had to happen. So this little girl is a vampire, and it's best in this movie not to think she's a vampire, not a little girl vampire. Like, this is a full grown, it's been alive for hundreds of years. It's a supernatural being. And they find out that she's a vampire, and she attacks the big muscle guy. Oh, they name one guy Don Rickles because he says, "You're Rickles." And there's young people like, who the fuck is Rickles? One guy keeps calling him Wrinkles. Oh God, that was clever. Very clever. Anyway, so she attacks the muscle guy, and they're realizing she's a vampire, and then like, oh, they shoot her. She doesn't die. They're like, oh shit. What do? They all run out of this little bedroom, and they lock her in. Just a little old lock, about yay big little lock on a wood door. Don't even know if it's solid oak. Windows, vampires, they can fly. And then now we go into what's called downstairs, where apparently magically, if you're downstairs, the evil superhuman creature can't come downstairs, can't break out of the door, can't come downstairs. So they say, oh, we got to kill the vampire. What do we know about vampires? They're making steaks with pool cubes. The leader guy, is like, "You go downstairs into the kitchen and get some garlic." She comes back up, "Hey, I found the garlic. It's a bag of onions." He's like, "Jesus fucking Christ, those are onions." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I can really relate with that character. Yeah." So he's kind of dealing with some stupid people. So they get the garlic. They say, "Oh wait, we gotta kill the vampire." So they go up there. They fail. They find out none of this stuff works on the vampire girl. And then the rest of the move. Oh, and then finally, all the house, the creepy house they're in, all of a sudden, all the gates go up, barricades go up, and they realize that they're trapped. So now they're stuck in the creepy house with the vampire. And the next hour is the vampire essentially just toying with them. And you find out, well, the reason the vampire just didn't, I don't know, break down the door and kill them all is because it wanted to toy with them. And then the vampires picking them off kind of one by one. They're down to about 4 people, I think, at one point. And they manage to get her drugged up so she falls asleep through all of them are kind of like holding her down at once. They put her into a metal cage. They think they got her in there. And again, the inconsistency. It's like, okay, so they're talking to her, like negotiating, like, you got to let us, we'll let you out of the cage. It just happens to be a cage in the place. And she says, if one of you let me out, I'll let 2 of you live, that kind of deal. And you find out later on, as they're all talking, she just kicks the metal door open. She wasn't locked in at all. To which I go back to why don't you just kick open the wood door while they're having their 3-hour conference down below? Downstairs the safe, everybody. Downstairs the safe. Don't ask questions. While they were trying to figure out how to kill the vampire. And I know. Okay, look, again, all of you who are fans of horror show, you know this. This is, and maybe you've trained your brain to overlook it. I just couldn't get over that. Why is it just killing them all? Why? What? Come on. All right. And so at any point in time, this vampire could kill them. And then towards the end, and it's a long. Now you get your bang for your buck. I'll tell you this. It's not dragged out. It's like Ninja Scroll, where if you don't know Ninja Scroll, it's one of the best anime movies ever, and he has to kill 8 devils of Kimon. So 8 bad guys or sub bosses and 1 main boss, and he's got to kill them all. So every 10 or 12 minutes there's going to be a fight or a boss battle. Which is a very simple formula. It worked great. Ninja Scroll. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's kind of the same thing here. She's got to bump off 1 or 2 of these characters. And I can't remember all of it, but she ends up, she bit one of the people in a fight, and that person is worried that she's going to turn into a vampire, but they find some light and they poke at it, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm fine." So she's not a vampire. You find out later on the vampire could control her because she bit her. And then that one kills the muscle. Oh, what else happens? How they all get picked off. They just killed Sniper Guy. He just died. I mean, it was a cool death. It was awesome. Oh, well, he's gone now too. And then it's finally down to leader guy and main girl Latina with son she got to live for. And the main guy, the actor and the character, they built up to be one of the more interesting ones, and the leader and the impatient, like, why am I surrounded by a bunch of fucking idiots type of guy. So, he's pretty smart. He's going to be one of the last ones here. And to their credit, they do drag it out another good. I'm like looking at the time left. I'm like, how the fuck is there another half an hour to this goddamn thing? Oh, by the way, I forgot. they they're all locked up, right? And then in one scene, the vampire's about to kill uh, leadership guy, and the main gal, grabs a chair and sees that there's light coming out of this boarded up window, and she just breaks off all the wood on the boarded up window, and then the light comes in, and then that light blows off the vampire's hand, and Abigail, the vampire girl, retreats. And I'm like, ain't that a fucking window? Can't you break the window and jump out right now with the sun? And then they go to a library. There's a big old window right there. Can't you build a ladder? Get the fuck out? Break the window? No, we gotta stay in again. So, hunting them down, you find out that the vampire brought them all there. It was always a trap because these various people had either stolen or committed a crime against her and her father's crime family. They actually do own a big syndicate crime thing. And you get back down now, it's the main character lead, the gal, and then lead guy, brains of the outfit type of guy. So just after a run-in with the vampire, all of a sudden the door opens in the library. Just 'cause, things like that happen, and they say, it's a trap. But they gotta go in there anyway because the plot has to happen. Even though there's a window 20 feet above them, you could climb up. You could climb up the fucking bookcases and get there if you wanted. Never mind. Let's go down this creepy door here. So they're going down the creepy door, and then they hear a recording being played back of the previous conversation where they're just hanging out in the pool room, having fun, discussing. And they get in there, and there's it's not Carlo, but god dang it. I gotta get this guy. Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito. I'm just gonna leave him up here. So they get into kind of like this control room with video cameras and everything, and there he is. There he is. And leadership guy's like, "You bastard. You set us up. Why'd you set us up?" And then Giancarlo Esposito, he is also a vampire. And he grabs lead Latina gal and just holds her up against the wall, and she can't do nothing. And then he has a conversation with leadership guy. He says, I am trying to take down, the reason I brought you in here is because I'm setting a trap. I want to kill the girl vampire and her dad, Lazar Lamar. He's coming. And if I could convert you to a vampire, you and me could take him out together. And then we could control their empire and all that other thing. Now, by this time, they've seen enough death and exploding bodies and all that. And the chances of getting out are very minimal. Leadership guy he's like, okay, fine. And then Giancarlo Esposito bites him in the neck. He feeds him some of his blood. I don't know why leadership guy has to then, there's like a Team America World Police puke scene where the guy's puking for a solid minute and a half. I don't know why, but he does. And he's like, and now he's a vampire. Like, oh yeah, keep those eyes open. No one's gonna know where that one's from. And then where it lost me again, I've already been lost 3 times. So beforehand, him and the gal seem to be getting along pretty well. Leadership or team or the lead role gal. And he's like, oh yeah, we got to deal with her. I'm like, why do you got to deal with her? Why can't you just let her go? Why are you fighting her? So Giancarlo, the vampire, says, here's your first victim. I guess if you were converted by a vampire, you have to obey their wishes. I just watched the show. I'm not here, just a guy in bed in his jams. He says, I order you to kill her. Well, I guess those rules don't apply because then leadership guy takes a stake, which we're working on the vampires before, stabs Giancarlo Esposito, the guy from The Boys. And the guy blows up. He just kills him. And then leadership guy becomes a weapons grade dick. He just becomes pure evil for no reason. He could get the fuck out. He says, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Or maybe I could stick around and take out. But he decides to fight this girl. Now, what ends up happening is a long ass fucking battle between him, leading Latina lady, who's not a vampire at this point, and then Abigail, who comes back. And Abigail, because Latina lady treated her nice, Abigail's also abandoned daughter, and she wished her parents. And so they decide to team up and fight against the leadership guy. Leadership guy, I mean, at any point in time, he could kill him. I don't know how many times he got to suck the blood out of the other vampire, but that keeps happening. They finally get the best out of him, and then they kill leadership guy, and he blows up. And then the final scene is, the Latina lady who's not a vampire sees Abigail and like, what's going to happen next? And Abigail appreciates that she tried to help. Says like, you can go now. But at the very last moment, her father comes in, and there's Lazar, and he's played by a hoity British dude, and he could kill this woman in half a second, but then he's about to, and then Abigail steps in and says, "No, father, she was there for me when you weren't." And then the father, but I was here for you. I've provided you things and stuff, because this is the plot. And he realizes that his daughter, you couldn't really tell because the guy is evil. The guy realizes, my daughter's speaking the truth. Maybe I should let this woman go. So he gives her a kiss on the hand, human person. Realizes he likes the blood. He says, I think you need to leave because it's going to soon be dinner time. And the gal gets out. She hops in her van and she goes away. And that was it. That was the movie. I generally did not like the movie. I didn't like it at all. There were certainly things I liked about it. There's some funny things, but when I say I don't like the movie, that means I don't like horror films. For the reasons that there's always huge, gaping, dumb plot holes. I just can't get into the genre. It's not that it would be the same criticism as I would have of Harlequin romance movies. I don't like them. They're not made for me. They're made for women. And so there can be good romance movies, but I'm not going to like a single one of them. Unless it's one of them old school romantic comedies like a Cary Grant flick or Down with Love is probably one of the better ones, even though that's very modern. So it's the same thing. It's an unfair criticism of me to critique this horror film because I don't like the genre. But I'm smart enough to know I've seen enough horror films like, yeah, this is definitely one of the best. Like, if the average horror show with the average number of plot holes and just what the fuck are you going in the basement for? Why don't you leave and call the cops? Like, let's say that the average score was 100, a mean of 100. The stupidity on this one is only at about 40. There's only 4/10 the amount of stupid things like, well, why don't you just do this or why don't you just do that? Nowhere near the amount. Action scenes was good if you like horror and gore. Oh yeah, there's plenty of that. And as I said before, the first half is real good. They build up the people and the characters and all that, as opposed to say your standard, oh, it's football star guy in high school and his girlfriend and then nerd guy and token black guy and they find creepy, spooky, whatever village house and they proceed to make really stupid decisions. Oh, then there's nerd goth chick, right? You got to have, and you don't know who the fuck these people are. There's no character or personality among them. It's almost like they took an adult version, like, okay, now you're all professionals, but the actors did a real good job portraying where you actually kind of got invested in these characters. Like, oh, that's kind of clever what they did there. And then, oh yeah, if you want action and horror and gore, there's an hour 45 minutes of it. So it's an exceptionally good horror flick if you're into it. So I couldn't recommend it highly enough if you're into horror. Yeah, but it's like you people who like split pea soup, you're just weird. Who likes split pea soup? Nobody does. All those it's like you guys the people who like horror, they're like the men who have a foot fetish. They're feet guys. It's just like, "Hey, you stay over there, you weirdos." Uh, but I did wanna look up the budget on this, because it was so well done. And you know what? $28 million. That was it. $28 million. I'm not an expert at assessing budgets by looking at film, like, or the quality, but man, uh, they did a good job. I don't look for errors or faults or props, but yeah, the scenes were really creepy. Um, the decor and the filmatography and everything was done really well. The lighting was great. If you ask me, well, what was the budget on this? I'm like, well, there's not a shit ton of special effects. They're not huge actors. I'd say it was like 120 million. Nope, 28 million. And what this shows you, even though I don't like horror, what it shows you is you fucking dick sucks in Hollywood. You just ain't got no creativity. You got no skills. Whoever the director was of this movie, bravo. Outstanding job. You had a very limited budget and you made something really good, really high quality. And the actors, every single one, even the little girl was a very good actress. Very good. It shows you what you can do with some creativity, innovation, I think an attention to quality control. This wasn't just some schlop, oh, high school kids stereotype guy with chainsaw running around murder. There was a lot of thought went into especially the first part in the setup. And I'm curious, like, was Die Hard an inspiration? It really seemed to be. But whoever the director was on this, if there was justice in this world, the large studios will say, get this guy a budget. And he said, well, I don't need that much budget because I can do it on this. But it goes to show you that it's modern day movies with the big important people, the experts. They really just think it's taking Legos and piecing them together. That there's no mortar, there's no soul, there's no intelligence, there's no creativity. They really just think grab A-list celebrities 1, 2, and 3, and then throw girl boss, race swap that person, have political, not even undertones, broad, blatant, clear statement, CGI, with label of an IP that everybody used to love 20 years ago before we shat all over it, hit play, and the poof should be $1 billion hit. Like, no, no. You need someone who's creative and intelligent, and a lot of thought has to go into the characters. And I think out of all the horror movies I've seen, these were the most well-developed characters where you actually are kind of invested, like, "Oh, shit, what's gonna happen?" I mean, they're all you really think, "Oh, man, what's gonna happen to Muscles guy?" He's kind of the innocent, nice guy in this whole thing. And then, uh, the driver guy, douche canoe. Oh, you hate him, and you gotta wonder, like, why do I hate this guy 5 minutes into the movie? Because the actor did his fucking job. He did it good, and the writing was good. And so I guess if you're not into horror, but you still wanna see how a good movie is made, this would be it. You wanna see good acting? This would be it. And, yeah, so I can't recommend it enough for those of you who like horror. And it's a long one. You're gonna get your money's worth, absolutely. So there you are. We got any super chats? Let's go to the super chats. Flat scan, $20. Yeah, we're married. Happy. Oh, he's these are the guys. The Latina character's specialty was a medic in the army. Well, I know she was a medic in the army, but what was her specialty for the heist, or not the heist, but the kidnapping? Well, I know they had to put the syringe in and knock out the gal, but aside from that, she wasn't really. I mean, her specialty was main character. That was her specialty. But everyone else had an applicable specialty as it pertained to the kidnapping, except her. So you could kinda that'd be, I guess, be the one minor flaw I'd have about that. Uh, Flat scan, $5. I'm still convinced Frank, that's leadership guy, is based on your videos. No, I don't. I guarantee you, Frank, they didn't watch my channel. Say, hey, we got to base a guy off of Cappy. I guarantee you there was no influence. Anybody who wants to watch this movie should watch it as if Cappy is in the leader role. I'm not. It's not that I'm a stereotype, but people look. The world is full of stupid people. All right. And in times past, when the economy might have been stable, people would have the money or the tolerance to avoid it. Me and many other people don't. For example, a lot of people point out that I'm a lot like Bill Burr. Well, it's not coincidence. I don't uh, uh, act like Bill Burr. I didn't know Bill Burr was a character or a person until like I had my podcast probably for about 5 years. I say, you would love Bill Burr. And I'm like, holy shit, I love Bill Burr. But there are other people out there who are just so fucking sick of this shit. And they're surrounded by stupid people, especially if you're smarter than the average parent. I don't mean you gotta have like an IQ of 140, but just, the guy is smart. You can tell he's thinking and all that. The muscle is dumb. The girl is a ditz. And he's just like, it's a fucking onions. There is a group of people, predominantly male, but I also got to imagine some people who are female, who are just so fucking sick and tired of the stupid people that it's not, it's different, but it's not unique. And also, people don't like the assholes who tell the truth. They're like, oh, you're an ass. So they're shoo. This is I'm how many characters do you see like this? This is the first time you see it profiled on a movie. But no, there are more of us around than you realize. They all just don't have podcasts. Plus, they gotta keep their mouths shut when it comes to work. I mean, here's another one. Look, give you an example. Even predating all this, Office Space with Ron Livingston's character. That's kind of it, where he says, fuck it. No, I'm not doing it. There, Cartman. It's the guy who just says the emperor has no clothes and doesn't give no more shits. So you can see him. It's a stereotype or a character that already exists in some form or another. WizDivision Productions, $2. You might like Late Night with the Devil. No, I'm not. I am not. No, this guy paid a lot of money. Now, it was a long movie. This guy paid a lot of money, and my day is half over now. You want me to watch movie? I got other shit to do that I want to do. So you want my time, you got to pay a lot. Even if people are like, well, you get to watch a movie. It's like, if I wanted to watch a movie, I'd watch Midnight Run. I don't want to watch any more horrors. Flat Scan, $2. Would you have made the same decisions as Frank? Not at the end. Not. I don't see the reason. I would have probably teamed up with Giancarlo. Said, yeah, let's take these assholes out. I probably would have gone into the room with my mask on. I would have climbed out the window. A lot of different decisions I'd make, but that would be any character. What were the decisions he made? Wait, did you have a request? Wait, let me read the request. Did you have other questions? I feel horrible if I didn't answer your questions. Let's go into the I'm getting there. Did I? Bear with me. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Please pay attention to Dan Stevens' character, Frank, as I'm convinced his portrayal is based on your videos on YouTube. I wonder, would you have made the same choices Frank makes? I apologize for skipping this. I apologize. Let me know how much of it. It's not as painful as Dragon Ball Z, Lord Slug. No, it's not. Thank you for the great videos. What was this? I mean, there's this decision at the end. No, I wouldn't. Also, what is it? He put away 3 of the. I'm trying to think of the incentives that. Yeah, I probably would have just teamed up with Carlo. I would have let the girl live, killed the girl. I would have killed Abigail, and then I would have just waited for Lazar. Because by that time you're a vampire already. I probably would have, at the end. Now I'd be trying to get the hell out. I don't know if I would immediately pack up bags and leave. I'd be like, how does he know? There's no way he could know. Oh, he might have his people. But yeah, you give me the powers of a vampire and go take out a guy and get his criminal empire. Yeah, I probably would do it, assuming I had no other obligations in life, which none of them did. They were all kind of alienated from their families and all. Um, Trying to think of other decisions he made because it's like the movie makes decisions for them. Like, oh no, you can't do that logical common sense thing. You gotta do this. I would have gone upstairs to double check the book. I said, all right, I'll let you out once I make sure that the book gets me out. Uh, what else? I wouldn't have screwed over the vampire. Would have had a little bit of ethics. Yeah, he went from calmed and reasoned to just like I'm outright evil now. I'm gonna kill everyone. I like, yeah, that's what I would have done. Sam Whiskey, $10. Cappy, did Abigail jump over the fence on a motorcycle? No, she did not. And neither did Steve McQueen. He didn't get over the fence. He got caught in the fence. Captain Hiltz. Flat scan, $5. Yeah, but Frank Dan Stevens with glasses even looks like you, and he says the money is an excuse. Just raise the kid. It, they didn't base it on me. I can get look. Go ask the director. Say, did you watch Aaron? It's not. If you're being serious about, yes, there's many commonalities. See, and that's another thing. Like Frank obviously has a moral soul. He's like, raise the kid. That's an excuse. But then he just turns out right evil at the end, which I didn't. Again, the inconsistency of your typical horror film. Yes, there are commonalities, but it's not. They didn't base it off of me. No one's contacted me. No one says, "Hey, what's it like being you? And why do you make the decision?" No one's come around. It is. Come on. There's got to be a little bit of that in all of us, don't you think? We just want to tell Karen and HR, shut the fuck up, you dumb fat bitch. No, I'm not going to your fucking. Everybody wants to do it. It's just whether people actually do it. I mean, yeah, okay, he looks like me, but he's got blue eyes. So, it's those blue eyed people who are right handed. I'm not left handed, by the way. I just use that as a joke. Um, yeah, I mean, there are some similarities, but who else would be Ron Livingston's character from uh, Office Space? I'm trying to think. If there's got to be other characters that are based on that stereotype. Um, Kurtman just keeps coming to mind. I'm trying to think where the guy just is. Okay, Rorschach to a certain extent, although he's too idealistic, but he definitely says, "Fuck it, I'm doing it my way." If you've ever seen not the Expendables, uh, the the comic book Rorschach, I forget it's not the Watchmen. Look throughout history, it's not an unheard of character that person comes through every once in a while. Great review, Louder Milk. Yeah, Louder Milk. I don't know if I reviewed it, but I did. I liked the first 2 seasons. And I think the 3rd season just got weird. And then once they put Mutilated Face Girl in, which no offense to the actress, but lady, if that's not makeup, and even if it was makeup, it was jarring and it's not natural and it throws everyone the fuck off. And that's why Louder Milk, and it was inconsistent. They didn't know if they wanted to be a serious show or a comedy. And then it went Loudermilk. But yeah, there's another example, also played by the same actor, Ron Livingston. Loudermilk. He gives 0 fucks, but no one. Yeah, we even did a video. No, I'm not. Someone emailed like, "Are you based on his Loudermilk?" It's like, no. There's a character out there. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go and run errands in town, and I'm gonna try to just play video games and relax today. Thank you very much to the kind couple who paid for that. Thank you. Um, and I think I'm gonna add a premium on horror movie because I know you guys. You go, "Oh, I'm gonna send them a horror movie." Oh, I expect to pay $100 premium. I don't know. Why can't I review spaghetti westerns? Why can't you guys have me review like World War II flicks? Here, watch this thing with a bunch of blood and gore and all that stuff. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.